Hello, everyone. It's finally starting to sink in. Now, JD Vance says that Russia is basically really pushing it when they're demanding terms for ceasefire or peace talks. And it's also beginning to dawn on him and his boss that trying to negotiate a peace between two nations without those two nations ever coming into contact at the negotiating table is impossible, especially considering that they're currently at war with one another. And one of them invaded the other. That's problematic. Is it just dawning on you? Guys, after Crimea, after Donetsk, Luhansk region, after full-scale invasion, after Bucha, Irpin, Mariupol, Bakhmut, all of that, it's just starting to dawn on you? Honestly, folks, this is what I do not understand. So these people occupy the highest offices in our country. These are the highest offices in the land. So we have a president and the vice president who is in line to become the next president if something happens to the current one. Right? So you would think they would, I don't know, do some studying, do some homework on one of the biggest conflicts that has been happening in the world for years. One of the biggest since World War II. And yet, it's just starting to dawn on them how Russia operates. Seriously? JD Vance's remarks come only days after Trump's admission that maybe Putin doesn't really want to stop the war. You think? And here's another thing. We know it takes one to know one. Trump is an asshole and a bully. Why is he so surprised that there is another asshole and bully whose basic strategy regarding anything is my way or the highway? It's you give me Ukraine or I'm gonna use nukes. And again, all of us covering this war, analyzing, providing information, providing education to people about this, have been saying this. Response to Putin should be like response to Hitler. I'm not exaggerating. It should be political isolation. It should be military isolation. It should be economic isolation. And it should be unified response because, again, there's now plenty of evidence outside Ukraine that he presents a global threat, including to the United States. People much smarter than me, with a lot more knowledge than me in politics, economy, and history, have been saying this for ages. I don't know why people are not listening. Case in point, with so many military facilities in Russia targeted by Ukraine drone attacks, Russia is now looking at building a major ammunitions explosives factory in Siberia. Okay, they can try. They can try. But, you know, those Ukrainian drones have been reaching farther and farther and farther out into Russia. So let them try and build it. They might have a few industrial accidents. Another case in point. So you remember that 3-day self-imposed ceasefire that Putin had announced. And remember, Russia is about 7 or 8 hours ahead of the United States. Okay, so they're almost into May 8th at this point. So they were going to do May 8th, 9th, and 10th, kind of bookending the Victory Day. We talked about the Victory Day. And yet, On the very first day of that self-declared ceasefire, they attack and kill one person. There was another attack in northeastern Ukraine. So this whole thing just invalidated itself. Also, Putin is trying to sort out the situation with China. As we talked about this before, China is unhappy that some Chinese nationals have been caught fighting on Russian side in Ukraine and interviewed and photographed. And that has been published. So they are not happy about this. So obviously Putin is trying to patch that up because that is very bad publicity with China. China is a complicated beast. We talked about this before with a lot of things going on, a lot of plates in the air. Here's what I would ask China if I had a chance. Guys, stop. Why are you cozying up to Russia? Politically and economically, that can't be good for you. I know you don't like capitalism. I know you don't like the West. But so far, historically, anyone and everyone who cozied up to Russia ended up losing by it. Especially now that you're in this big trade war with the United States and you want to strengthen your ties with Europe. Europe is definitely not friends with Russia. So you need to decide what's more important to you. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. I'm treating this relationship between Russia and China, particularly with these latest disclosures about Chinese nationals fighting in the war, as a developing story. And again, here's Ukrainian response. And yeah, why would they play Putin's games? Because again, remember, these people have been in this for ages, since 2014. And before that, they were under an authoritarian dictator who was pro-Russian, whom they had to kick out. So they know all about Russian strategy, Russia's, tendency to ham-fist their way into everything, and Russia's tendency to break ceasefires, whether agreed upon with another party or self-imposed. So, in Ukraine, people are like, yep, been there, done that, got a t-shirt, moving right along, this is bullshit. And remember, Putin rejected the 30-day ceasefire because he said it will give Ukraine a chance to rearm. Guess what Russia is doing during ceasefires? Because remember what I told you. Anytime Putin accuses someone else of something or says that he's not going to do something, it is a very high likelihood that he is thinking about doing exactly that. When he says we're not going to use nukes in Ukraine, he's thinking, can I use nukes in Ukraine and get away with it? Considering he got away with everything else up to this point. When he says, Ukraine is going to rearm during the ceasefire, he is planning rearmament during the ceasefire. It's that simple. Every accusation is an admission in his case. So, from the standpoint of Ukrainians, this is just another day, another party. They are very cynical. Over 95% of population distrusts Russia. They don't believe there's going to be any ceasefire. These people have been bombed in and out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years. They have no reason to trust anyone. And another little historic detail, even when Russia proposed an Easter truce, it violated it 3,000 times. Draw your own conclusions. More to come.